Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed. Still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive to me. More interesting, one way or another.
Und wie kann ich den jetzt heilen?
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. It still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favor.
Perhaps you're right. Maybe only the strongest will survive in these dark times.
If there must be only one, in the end, make no mistake, I'll be the winner.
Wir sind davon, dass wir ihn hinten töten können.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
We can't escape the consequences of our actions. The past catches up with us in the end.
I ain't afraid of death. I don't hide who I am. I live my life honestly, which is more than I could say for most folks.
And who are you, then?
I'm the leader of the Wet Boot Boys. One day, I'll leave this shitty place and punch in the face all who thought I would not come back.
Da habe ich einfach zu wenig Infos. Heilen mit, aber wie kann ich den
I'll
denn
leave you
heilen?
for now, Mr. Cox.
Das würde mich mal interessieren. Wie kann ich den denn heilen?
It's locked, all right.
Okay, jetzt komme ich nicht da hinten hin, oder wie, oder was? Manuel B-Taste geht auch nicht. Ach, jetzt geht das erst. Falsche Taste. Oh, hier ist Blut. Mhm. Hast du schon gegoogelt, ne?
cannot enter.
Warum komme ich da nicht rein? Stufe 10. Ah, okay, ciao. Echt jetzt? Das muss ich mich jetzt echt erst weiterentwickeln, damit ich hier durchgehen kann? Habe ich keine Möglichkeit, übers Dach zu gehen oder so? Ich meine, er ist ein Vampir. Ja, ganz ehrlich, warum geht er nicht übers Dach? Stufe 11 brauche ich gar nicht jetzt probieren. Oh, ich könnte so kotzen. Was ist das für eine beschissene Levelverteilung? Und auf schwer kriegst du ja noch weniger EP. So, lass mich mal kurz gucken. Was habe ich denn hier? Ultimate? Ach ne, Schattenschleier. Das kannst du nicht verskillen. War nur gegen Erschöpfen, aber wie kann ich die heilen? Ja, den einen Hinweis bekommen wir nicht. Aber ist doch gesund, oder nicht? Auch gesund? Mir fehlen noch 2 Leute. Eigentlich müssten wir den heilen.
The Pembroke is so lucky to have Dr. Reed, you know. I met him in New York once.
If only there were more of us, with less resignation and more determination.
I know I can do it.
Warum soll ich jetzt meine Sinne aktivieren?
It's locked.
Jetzt zu dir will ich noch nicht.
My sweet girl. Never could keep anything.
Der Typ denn? Falsche Richtung? Ach, und die alte steht davor. Lass mich rein. Ich muss erst zur alten oder was? Ich will aber nicht zu der.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Aber ich kann den nicht heilen. Warum nicht? Warum kann ich den nicht mit heilen? Doch gar nicht. Doch das Zeug oder nicht?
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate.
Ja,
to
laber nicht
contact
hier.
Don't waste your time with me.
Ja, ihr verschwendet gerade meine Zeit, weil ich euch nicht heilen kann.
A lot of my own life.
Ghost on every street corner. The daily routine.
Time has lost its effect on me.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, what do you really know about vampires?
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and kill. I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes, and it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body. I am a vampire too.
You have no idea what problems your claim could cause if heard by the wrong people, Miss Howcroft. You must stop this nonsense now.
Why fear the truth? Strange things live in the dark, Dr. Reed. Strange and ancient beings that were here before this island even had a name.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal...
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Every street corner. The daily routine.
The flower's dying. It needs water. I cannot enter. Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? The chest was originally open to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
only I were young again. Just a dozen years.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett in our situation?
Perhaps you did it with the best intentions, Nurse Brannigan, but you took a great risk. Must I remind you that a man died?
You mean you've never made a mistake? Never covered your tracks? Come on, Doctor. I wasn't born yesterday.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
I will cover for you, Dr. Tippett, by keeping what happened to Mr. Connor to myself.
I don't know what to say, actually. I can't exactly force you to become my accomplice.
You didn't force me. This is my decision to make. I believe you're still of use to the hospital, considering the situation.
Then I can make you this promise. As soon as the epidemic is eradicated, I will resign.
What will you do after your resignation? Do you have a plan?
I always fancied visiting Cyprus. Such a beautiful island. I could buy a house there by the sea, read poetry, and wait for death.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
How painful.
So painful.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Sir, I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Doctor.
Das habe ich ewig gesucht jetzt gerade, bis ich mal was Passendes gefunden habe, wie man die Leute heilen kann. Da wir das Ganze ja mit einem Controller spielen und nicht auf Maus und Tastatur, ist es so, dass die Steuerung natürlich dementsprechend anders ist. Wir gehen mal kurz raus zu dem Typ. Man hat es jetzt gerade gesehen, ich habe zu spät die Pausentaste gedrückt, dass die Aufnahme wieder läuft. Okay, die gerade ganz schön am Ruckeln gewesen. Wir gehen mal zu ihm rüber und wenn wir ihn ja ansprechen, ja, Mahlzeit.
Hey, Doc.
Ich drücke jetzt die RT-Taste. Kann ich die RT-Taste in dem Fall drücken?
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox. I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Und dann kann ich denen quasi die Medizin geben. Dadurch heilen die sich. Das Problem ist allerdings, es kann passieren, also das Risiko besteht bei jedem Patienten, den wir heilen, dass die sich wieder neu anstecken. Und es gibt manche Sachen, die bekommen wir so, indem wir die Hauptquest weiterspielen. Leider ist es schon gespoilert, dass man die Sachen dann findet. Es gibt aber auch Sachen, die man nicht so einfach finden kann. Ja, deswegen, so können wir die Leute zumindest heilen.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
Und jetzt steht da, er erholt sich. Jetzt weiß ich nicht, wie lange das dauert.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Bis der sich jetzt erholt hat. Weil ich denke, das wird eine Weile dauern. Wir werden jetzt mal mit dem Swansea sprechen. Weil meine Festplatte läuft nämlich so langsam voll. Ich muss gucken, wie lange wir jetzt noch machen können. Ich denke mal eine halbe Stunde noch und dann muss ich mal die ganzen Videos hochladen. Und meine Platte mal leer machen. Ja, also der Swansea war hier unten irgendwo.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
Boah. Ja, ich überlege gerade. Das Leben ist ein Paradoxon. Würde ich jetzt eher nehmen.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Verräter im Krankenhaus. Okay. Ja, das falsche Ziel, da sind wir, glaube ich, noch nicht hoch genug für. Muss aber auch ehrlich gesagt sagen, ich weiß nicht so recht, ob es irgendwie Sinn macht zu farmen oder zu grinden, bis man ein gewisses Level erreicht hat.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Interessante
You seem
Augenfarbe.
surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a vamp... The lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Das sah mal zwischendurch immer so aus, als würde sie nicht ihn angucken, sondern ich sag jetzt mal, er steht jetzt hier und wenn ich jetzt so gehe, dass man quasi rechts über seine Schulter guckt permanent und das sah gerade so aus.
Simpletons, these nurses. Bred with no respect.
Spezialfall, wa?
What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here. You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse, or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Look again. Feel my blood boil with the fever.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew.
Goodbye, Nurse.
Die hat uns zwar gar nichts gebracht. Brauchen wir denn noch Dorrit Crane? Holt sich. Sind die denn alle?
I met him in New York once.
If only there were more of us. With
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Und dass die alle mal wach sind, ne?
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Goodbye, Nurse.
Dorothy. Wo ist die Dorothy denn?
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadogan fellow. Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadogan fellow.
with me.
It's locked, all right.
I'm so tired. Shift never ends.
I'm alright.
Die denn? Ist die oben?
I cannot enter. It's locked.
Was nehmen wir denn mal mit? Ah, guck mal, die sind geheilt. Aber mir fehlen noch 2 Leute. Ich hab die Schwester immer noch nicht gefunden.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Have you heard rumors about blackmail in this hospital?
No.
I have to go now.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Have you heard rumors of blackmail going on in this hospital?
Dr. Reed, are you trying to take advantage of me?
Of course not, Mrs. Goswick. I'm just curious.
Well, go be curious somewhere else, please.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Oh, die ist aber ganz schön... Ja, weiß ich auch
I'm
nicht.
quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Thank... Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Have you heard any talk?
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question the patients. They know more than the staff, especially old Miss Jones.
Goodbye, Doc.
Okay, das heißt, es bringt wahrscheinlich nichts, wenn ich mit denen rede.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Ne, da haben wir leider noch nichts zu, weil wir müssen ja noch
Have you heard talk of any
zur Apotheke.
here at the hospital?
No, nothing.
Good.
Aber wo ist die kurze?
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Have you heard of...
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
Goodbye, Milton.
Okay, da gibt es auch keine Infos. Die muss ja hier irgendwo sein. Weil laut dem Dingen muss die irgendwo hier in der Nähe sein.
Hey, Doc.
I'll leave.
Dodged death so many times. Oswald, you can't just die like this. Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. Please, calm down and give me more details.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but... well, we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off towards the canal.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats. Can't stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the same regiment, sir. We've taken care of each other since we came back from the front.
What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is... nervous and quite fragile since we came back from the war.
This is a dangerous part of town. What are you doing here?
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital. We both need help. Treatment, I mean. To get some sleep. Just need to feel better, sir.
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital. I think he went to the sewers on purpose. So I couldn't go after him.
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Und sehr interessant, dass man von einer Mission zur nächsten kommt. Ich habe jetzt erstmal gedacht, dass erst der Typ ist, der da seinen Kumpel sucht, jetzt der da ermordet worden ist von dem anderen. Der ins Wasser geschubst worden ist. Das war jetzt so mein erster Gedanke. Wo soll der denn sein? Kann es sein, dass die irgendwo da unten ist? Da ist sie. Aber wie komme ich jetzt dahin? Ich kann meine Fähigkeiten, doch kann ich LT. Bin ich irgendwo drauf, dass ich da die da belauschen kann? Ich kann nichts machen. Oh. Ganz ehrlich, selbst wenn sie einen Freund hat, was ist daran so schlimm? Ja, schön Krankenschwester hin oder her. Aber trotzdem. Ich meine, die einen beiden sind ja auch zusammen.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
Oh, ich ahne Böses, das gibt doch nachher wieder einen Bossfight.